let's get into this Eagles-Cowboys game and talk about what we expect in this one. I think it all starts off for me with the Dallas pass rush.
Yes,
Demarcus
100%.
Lawrence is second fiddle now to Micah Parsons, and just the complete beast that he is as a pass rusher. And I really hope that the Eagles offensive line is back, because they're going to need everything they can get. The Dallas Cowboys have a legit defense. They're 6th in total DVOA, which is 1 slot behind the Eagles. They are 4th in passing DVOA, which is 1 slot behind the Eagles, and they are 18th in rushing DVOA. So you can run on them a little bit, but the passing game is tough, and they don't have to blitz a lot to get pressure. And so will they choose to blitz because its impact it hurts a lot? I don't know. But being able to block Demarcus Lawrence is going to be, or Demarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons is going to be huge in this game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Real quick on that win before we move forward is I said this during the post-game show as my final thought. Like, that win is going to be one of those wins that we're going to be talking about like 10 weeks from now when we're talking about seeding and different things like that. Like, just so that's just my final thought. But going to the pass rush, that Jordan Mailata, Jack Driscoll versus Micah Parsons matchup is going to be so important. You look at the Cowboys versus the Rams. Los Angeles was beating like a drum, man. They allowed 24 pressures on 46 pass blocking snaps. They had a 52.2 pressure rate. That was the 3rd highest pressure rate allowed by a team all season long this year. Micah was terrific. He had 2 sacks. He had a forced fumble. He had 5 tackles. They hit Matthew Stafford 11 times. They caused him to fumble twice. He also threw an interception. The Rams did not score a single point in the final 2 quarters. And where you look at the Cowboys pass rush, they're 2nd in the league in 20 sacks. They lead the league in pressure rate. Micah Parsons had 6 of those sacks. And that starts and ends with Micah Parsons. You look at kind of Jalen Hurts, as we talked about, his 3.8 air yards per pass attempt last week was the 2nd fewest of his career. We know the Cardinals like to blitz. Teams are going to blitz against Jalen Hurts. We haven't seen it a lot this year, but I just think that's going to go up and up and up as the season progresses. And you look at the Cowboys, they're 10th in blitz percentage, but they're 3rd in total quarterback pressures, only behind the Bucs and the Dolphins. And this is a Cowboys defense that allows the 3rd best opponent quarterback rating at 76.6 behind the Bills and the Patriots. So that pass rush is huge for everything they do, and it starts with Micah.
Yeah, last season the Cowboys had a pretty good defense, and it was largely based on giving up a lot of yards and getting opportune interceptions. This year it's been an entirely different story. Top to bottom, this defense is playing really well. Like I said, they're the number 6 DVOA defense. The pass rush has been really good. They've allowed exactly 1 touchdown in every game this year. This is not a team that you put up a lot of points on typically, and so, you know, Cooper Rush hasn't been great. He hasn't needed to be. The Cowboys went 4-0 with Cooper Rush, and it was largely on the strength of their running game and this defense. And so, you know, and we can talk about, I don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. Dak Prescott is ramping up to play. Jerry Jones said that they're going to see starting on Wednesday how he's able to grip the ball and spin it. We'll see. Either way, though, the Cowboys are not going to be in a great place offensively. Whether it be Cooper Rush, who only threw for 100 yards last week, whether it be Dak Prescott making his first start back off of a thumb injury, the Eagles have an advantage at the quarterback position. Both teams have good defenses, though, and I think this is ultimately, like you said, it's going to come down to a defensive struggle. Yeah. And, you know, it's going to be whoever is able to get those couple big plays, or whoever's able to deal with the adversity the defense is throwing at the offenses. I don't expect this to be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on it, but like we need to see TJ Edwards have a better game because you look at Zeke, you look at Tony Pollard. The Cowboys ran the ball 34 times for 163 yards last week. That's 5.5 yards per attempt. Tony Pollard can get missed tackles. He had 3 of them on Sunday. He has 75 yards after contact on just 8 carries. Dallas averages the 10th most attempts on the ground this year, and they have the 22nd most yards per carry, which is okay. But those stats aren't great, but they're 13th in the league with 11 runs of 20 yards or more. So this is a team that is 100% capable of getting big chunks in limited carries. So yeah, there's good news. The bad news is they're 25th in a So that's my little bit about the defense. Can we talk about this guy named Cooper Rush just a little bit? Because I kind of did a deep on him, and I'm so curious about this guy because the Cowboys got some like Philly fan in them, and that they're falling in love with backup quarterback. That's what Philly fans do. Those fans are very much known for. Any thoughts on before I go to? I want to talk on Cooper.
Uh-oh. You're kind of breaking up a little on my end, and you're frozen right now. I don't know if you can hear me or not. But I'll talk about Cooper Rush while hopefully we get Dibes back, having a little bit of technical difficulties. Cooper Rush is not somebody that Cowboys fans should be starting a quarterback controversy over. And I don't know if they are or not. I'm not that tapped into the Cowboys, but Cooper Rush has been fine. He's done what you wanted him to do when you were out. If you get a backup quarterback and you can go 500 while he's in, that's great. He's gone 4-0 and it's bought them time, but it really hasn't been because of anything that he did. I mean, against Washington, he completed only 55% of his passes. Against the Rams, he only threw for 102 yards, but the key thing he hasn't done is he hasn't thrown interceptions. And so, although his completion percentage may be low, although he may be unable to push the ball downfield, he hasn't turned the ball over. He's taken some sacks. He took 3 sacks against the Rams, but no interceptions. He did have 2 fumbles. One of them he recovered himself. And so that's the most important thing you can do as a backup quarterback. He's managing the game. One important thing we talked about with the Cardinals game is how the pass rush was winning, but Kyler Murray was getting the ball out so fast, 2.68 second time to throw. Well, Cooper Rush had a 2.21 second time to throw last week. And if you look at the whole regular season, he is the 4th fastest time to throw at 2.55 seconds. He's only slower than Jimmy G, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. And so he gets the ball out fast, and he's going to continue to get the ball out fast. And so the Eagles are going to have to find a way to win quick, to muddy the waters underneath. And ultimately, they got to find a way to stop the running game, because the Cowboys, if Cooper Rush is the starter, they're going to try to rely on that ground game a lot.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're moving. Everything looks good.
My bad. But yeah, you look at Cooper Rush. 61% completion percentage. He has 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, but he does have 3 that should have been intercepted but were dropped by defenders. He also has 2 interceptions that were called back. He averages 4.0 yards per scramble, so obviously this isn't a guy that is going to beat you with his legs. 93.9 quarterback rating, gotta love that. And he's got a quarterback rating of 82 when under pressure against the blitz, which is not terrible. Hurts is actually 94.3 quarterback rating when under pressure. So that's a whole other conversation. That's so much better than it was last year. Hurts also has twice the yards as Cooper Rush when under pressure, but that's neither here or there. It's interesting that Cooper Rush is the 9th most pressured quarterback in the league at 25.2% per dropback, but he's only been hit 11 times, and that kind of speaks to your point about getting the ball out fast. That speaks to the offensive line for the Cowboys. That speaks to their game plan, Cooper Rush's approach. So that's definitely something to take note on Sunday. He's only been sacked 7 times this year, which is 2 less than Jalen Hurts this season. He's 29th in the league in intended air yards, so he doesn't have a huge arm, and he's not going to beat you over the top that much, but he definitely can get the ball downfield. I don't like that stat. And he's pretty accurate. He's got a 73% on target percentage, which is 29th best, 20th best, and he's got 2 game-winning drives under his belt for a guy that's just been kind of thrown into the fire. So I'm really excited to watch Cooper Rush play on Sunday night. I haven't gotten a chance to watch him yet, but he's going to be fun because we'll see if Dak Prescott plays or not. I don't understand why, especially given the state of kind of both teams at this point. For me, I'd probably roll with Cooper Rush at this point and just keep Dak healthy and get him ready for the second half of the season. That's just me though.
Yeah, they have bought a lot of time for Dak to get back, so they don't have to rush him out there. But at the same time, by buying that time, now they're sitting here thinking, well, maybe we win the division. Maybe we could go get a 1 seed. And so I get the appeal.
Yeah.
They have Detroit and Chicago up after the Eagles and then their bye week. And so I'm not saying that you keep Dak out for that long, but if Dak's not at 100%, I would for sure roll with Cooper Rush into the Eagles game. It's in Philadelphia. You get the Eagles coming back to Dallas in Week 16. So if I'm the Cowboys, I would maybe be eyeing an after the bye week return for Dak Prescott. And obviously I'm speculating. I don't know where he's at. But if that thumb isn't there, if it's not 100%, I definitely wouldn't try to force it out there. Cooper Rush has bought you time. There's no need to rush Dak back out there and get him hurt again. So, and from an Eagles fan perspective, I hope we see Cooper Rush. He's certainly the lesser quarterback. But I do think it makes sense for Dallas in that situation.
Yep. The other guy I think I really want to see have a huge game against Dallas. One of those, Jacksonville Jaguars games, and that's Miles Sanders. I think this game will come down. It'll be a defensive game, but it'll come down to time of possession. The Eagles, there's going to be one of those like NFC East bloodbath kind of games that are decided at the line of scrimmage. And I want to see Miles Sanders have another Jacksonville Jaguars game where he's an integral part of this offense. He's getting first downs. He makes 1 or 2 breakout runs there for big gains that are the difference in this one. You look at that Cowboys rushing attack. I want to see the Eagles rushing attack kind of get back in the flow, because when they're clicking on all cylinders like we saw in the fourth quarter last week, they're truly one of the best in the game. But I want to see more from Miles Sanders. This is another one of those Miles Sanders games where the Eagles offense can stay on the field, keep that Cowboys offense off the field. Miles Sanders is a guy that I'm circling to have a big game and a big impact.
I got a few comments here. Ryan says, the Cowboys would be stupid to rush Dak back. Rush is winning. Wait until they're bye.
I agree.
Connor says, imagine if Cooper loses to the Eagles. It would be a perfect time to bring Dak back. It fits a narrative. On the counter side, wouldn't it be great if Dak Prescott leads them to their first loss of the season, and then he comes back against the Eagles and they also lose? And so Cooper Rush is 4-0, Dak's 0-2. I would love that.
I have a question for you, because this question came up in our Discord. It came up during the Kelly Green Hour podcast, which was just about an hour ago. This started from me and Mark talking about this, your co-host for Chalk Talk. It's like I'm in a weird spot. I get it's Dallas week, but if there's like 100% in Eagles universe, in Eagles alternate reality, where the Eagles play really well, they play hard, they lose to Dallas, they go into the bye week at 5-1. I'm not missing 1 hour of sleep. I'm fine. I am good heading into the bye week at 5-1. Any thoughts on that? Because some people disagree with that big time.
I would say it depends on what happens and how it happens. You know, if you lose a game like the Cardinals just lost, what is that catch? If you lose a game like the Cardinals just lost, where you probably played better, you probably should have won, and you missed the field goal at the end or whatever, I would feel better about that. But at the end of the day, Dallas is your main competition for the division. No disrespect to the Giants. They've got great coaching. They've still got Daniel Jones as their quarterback. They're just not quite there yet. Dallas is your main competition, not only for the division, but potentially even for a 1 seed. It's the best defense you're going to face the rest of this regular season. You know, if you come out and put up 30 points on them and you lose because your defense gets lit up, I would feel better about that. But if the offense struggles, if it's a sloppy sort of game, it would be hard for me to feel great about that. Now, I'm going to be thrilled about being 5-1. I would have taken that before the year. But going into the bye with a loss against Dallas puts you conceivably in 3rd place in the division. You would be thinking about it a little bit, especially because this is kind of a litmus test game. The Eagles' schedule is pretty soft after their bye week, so I want to see them play well. If they play well in a loss, I can probably feel okay about that. I can't feel good if they just come out and they lay an egg, though.
I agree. Yeah, that's fair. Totally fair. Just I don't know. For a game with the 5-0 Eagles versus the 4-1, Dallas Cowboys, like, I'm eerily confident, or not as nervous as I should be, I guess. And that is a weird thing. For such a huge game. I don't know. I'm just weirdly confident in this Eagles squad this year. Just like we saw against the Cardinals. They didn't play well at all, but they won by not turning the ball over, limiting turnovers. They won by, dominating when they needed to in that 4th quarter. I don't know. Even though they made mistakes, especially with the game plan, good teams win those kind of games. And I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm fairly confident. The Eagles are not a good team. They're a great team.
Yeah. All right. Well, that leads us into our game predictions, which is so difficult. You don't know who the Cowboys starting quarterback is going to be. You don't know who the Eagles starting left tackle is going to be. There are so many unknowns until we get those injury reports. But Dibes, you got to make a call. You got to make a call. What are you picking here for this week?
It's too early. We don't know enough about the injury status of several players. That's a big one. That's way more. I'm like, Jordan Mailata's injury status is way more of a variable, to me at least, than Dak versus Cooper Rush. As crazy as that sounds, that's what I got. I think my man Ryan says 23-21 Eagles. This is one of those games that I fully agree, Ryan. Like, it's going to be less than a field goal type of slugfest. I'm going to go a little bit less than that. Yeah, baby. Who's that? That's Jordan Davis. Let's go. Jordan Davis with the sack there. I'm going less than you, Ryan. I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I'm going to go 17-14. Eagles get the W here. You could probably if this game was in Dallas, you could probably flip the script as well. I think whomever limits the turnovers, just like we saw last week, will get the W. I think a defensive player is going to be the player of the game in this one, whether that's Hassan Reddick making a big sack or a forced fumble. He's got several this year. Or it could be Mika on the other side making a huge pressure at a huge moment. And we'll see. So I'm going 17-14 Eagles. And just like my man Ryan, I'll be having a heart attack the entire night.
Yeah, he says heart attack game for sure, and that's not good news because my Apple Watch already asked me if I was having a medical emergency during the Cardinals' last drive last week. So, for me, man, this game's so hard to pick. You look at Dak and you look at Jordan Mailata, and if one of those guys plays and the other one doesn't, that team wins, in my opinion. If Dak plays, Mailata doesn't, the Cowboys win. Vice versa, the Eagles win. If they both play or don't play, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a close game either way, low scoring like you guys said. I was actually going to say 17-14 Eagles, which is what you said. So I'll bump it up a little bit. I'll say 20-17 Eagles right now. I reserve the right to change my mind once we find out who's going to play, though, because this seems like a total crapshoot, if I'm being honest, to pick this not knowing who's going to play.
100% agree. Yeah, this is going to be a great game. I'm excited, just like the Minnesota Vikings, just like even the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a great test for Jalen Hurts. At the end of the day, it's about evaluating Jalen Hurts, and he's got another great litmus test ahead of him, especially against Parsons and that Cowboys defensive line, which has been just dominant. So I'm excited.
All right, big week this week. Dallas week, Sunday Night Football. 5-0 Eagles, 4-1 Dallas Cowboys. It should be a lot of fun. We'll have you covered every step of the way. Keep it tuned here to the Painted Lines. We'll have all kinds of shows breaking this down in the lead up to and in the aftermath. So, Dives, before we get out of here, do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you want to get out there that you didn't get a chance to?
Sixers post games are back. We'll be doing another one on Wednesday, tomorrow night, if you're watching us live here on Tuesday. So it's fun to kind of change things up with Sixers conversations, and I'm loving the Sixers, especially their depth. So you can check that out every single post, or when the clock hits 0, me and my man Sean break it down as good as anywhere you'll find. And then we will have a pregame, halftime, and postgame show for Eagles versus Cowboys. I will be hosting the pregame show, and then my man Freddie will be doing the halftime and postgame show. So tons and tons of Eagles content. I will be dropping my Eagles matchups to watch video later this week. Just want to say thank you for the comments, and just thank you for anyone who tuned in and wanted to hear us two losers talk about football.
Yeah, absolutely. So Joe, Ryan, Connor, all you guys that were in the comments, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for riding with us. Give us a follow on Twitter. Dibes is at Mr. Crockpot. He puts out all kinds of highlight videos every week, so make sure you check those out. You can give me a follow at @halfandhalf_TPL. I steal his highlight videos, and then I make them into all 22 videos, and it's a great thing where I just kind of leech off of him. So check those out.
Wait. You are not leaving this show until you plug your new show for Bleeding Green Nation. What is it?
It's okay. So I'm doing the instant reaction shows for post game for Bleeding Green Nation. I do have a midweek show that's going to start dropping on Bleeding Green Nation's feed. I still can't say the name of it, but it should have an episode dropping this week. So they haven't announced it yet, so I can't, but it should be coming out this week, hopefully in the next couple of days. So stay tuned there. We will have a lot more stuff coming out. I'll be able to actually talk about it once they get that official announcement out. So sorry, I might have to wait. I can for sure tell you next week. But yeah, it'll be fun. And also, I'm going to be going live pretty much right after this show ends with Chalk Talk. Mark's going to be joining me. We'll talk about the Eagles a little bit. We'll break down all the other NFL games. So make sure you check that out if you don't have enough football yet on a Tuesday night. Ryan says great show as always, although something was missing. Yeah, we were missing other Ryan. And I guess we were missing Ryan Reese too, but we'll get to them next week. So
it's nice when we do a show and I'm not like the third ugliest person on a show. Now I'm just the second.
There you go. All right. Well, from me, from Dibes, from the Painted Lines, from Philly Sports Alliance, all the different groups associated with this, thank you guys for joining us, and we will catch you next week. Go Birds.
Go Birds.